Hello,
We're
one and
live.
all. Yeah, I did not hear the typical countdown, but it's an unorthodox
Yeah.
stream, unorthodox tournament to say the least. Our first match, keeping on that trend, Quick Esports against Team DZX235S. Definitely a bit of a lopsided, expectation here coming into the match. A few familiar names, probably to literally just me, because the tank player used to go to my old secondary school. But a lot more familiar names on the side of Quick Esports first map. Moa, what are your thoughts coming into this?
Well, obviously we're sort of very deep into a hazard meta at the moment. Not sure if bans are enabled for this tournament. Team DZX probably just going to be looking to play the meta the best they can as well, right? Yeah, it looks like Quick. I just rolling out with a pretty similar, pretty standard comp, right? Like the Sojourn Genji. We've seen it for the last 3 years of Overwatch 2, so nothing too out of the ordinary.
Definitely in terms of the composition. The players, though, Natsuki is on his main role, Snowdrop and Willis as well. Zydra is typically been on the bench, but Skytor in on Juno, the tank player for Quick coming in on the Juno. Not exactly expected, but right now the entire of Quick are just stuffing their opposition into this small choke, and Ilan's trying to keep everyone topped up. They're just not able to get any space at that moment, and Quick are steadily capturing the point here.
Yeah, slowly just trying to look for the cap. Obviously, the Lucio Juno is so good. And speaking of so good, yeah, that's the hazard challenge, ladies and gentlemen. The dash comes in, the burst follows through, and Team DZX are just hard reset. That's they lose the fight after the flip, which is never good, and that's going to be a bunch of ult charge on the exit for Quick Esports, effectively for free. That's really big for their economy.
Yeah. There's not much you can do once this hit comes through, unless you have a break for some kind of sustain, but the packs can only do so much. So I think names are flipped at the moment. It is not Team DZXN that has picked up Willis and Co. And in fact, only person getting picked up there is Rimmer sent straight back to the spawn. Zydra, Willis, everyone. The kills are just so fast on the side of Quick. There's almost no real response coming out here from the opposition. And Random just going to trade that onto Natsuki, which won't do all that too much, to be honest, but it's a nice touch.
Yeah, and when you find yourself in a meta like this where it's so mechanically intensive and you've got characters as overtuned as Sojourn and Hazard and Juno on this pack, effectively having the 5 better players than your enemy team is such a huge advantage. Like Willie's so close to ultimate already now. He's going to get that. Might not even need it just because of the amount of damage he's been able to do with the Hazard in the neutral fight. Like the range would come through, but look, they're just kind of dogpiling them in the neutral. Willie's finds 2 already.
Yeah, yet again, the entire team goes in trying to take out Skytor. They are successful there with the Random's help, but their entire team falls in the process. Not much you can do, and 80% ticking up for Quick, and only 1 ult available. Late stagger kill onto Random as well means that one's going to be even difficult to get working, plus there's a beat in your face to deny that value.
Yeah, and now it's 90% Quick Esports have got 5 ults hit on the go, and it looks like it could be clean pickings as Zydra pulls out the blade.
I mean, yeah, there's something clean about this massacre. Every Q button mashed at once. There's a beat from Natsuki as well. One last straggler left on the point, but, a pretty expected, a pretty cut and dry match. 100-0 first point for Quick, and unless something goes incredibly awry or, some kind of strange Pokemon evolution happens on the side of Team DZ, I think this is going to be a pretty clean sweep at the moment.
Yeah, at least for Koth, but as you can tell, it's just signs of experience coming through from Quick. Obviously, having Skytor in on an off roll as well is going to be a little bit of an opportunity and an avenue to punish. But I think Juno in this composition is so easy anyway that it doesn't really matter too much. And as I said, I think one of the worst things you can do when you know that you're like mechanically outmatched is try and mirror the composition, because Quick is scrimming. They're scrimming the game a lot. They are very much locked into this meta. It's one they've been reviewing and adapting and learning at. So why play it against someone they've got more knowledge than you do? But I like that they're whipping things up. Just going to the Reinhardt. Just actually, no, that's Willis going over to the Reinhardt, trying to play his full character.
Yeah, just trying to kind of flex their composition, flexible muscles here at the moment. I mean, Willis taking a lot of damage, but he's able just to really just soak it all up with that shield at the moment. He's already being forced from the side of Team DZ. Slide looking for something. It's only a flesh wound, but Aelm has a lot more of a fatal encumberment there. Random, though, getting some decent trades coming through. Will get taken out there. Now it's a 3 versus 1 on the point, but Rimus finds the headshots onto Snowdrop. I mean, like any kind of fight win here in a lot of capacity is it's a real, impressive nature from Team DZ, given, the amount of complete difference in terms of experience and skill that we said at the start. But, they're getting it scrappy. They're getting some trades coming through.
It's definitely a winnable fight. Some genius work done in terms of Ramos to find those headshots with the Kiriko. Really well played with those kunais. It absolutely flips it about. This composition from Quick does rely on its numbers. That's a nice railgun from Vrecht as well. Okay, so clearly the mechanical differences is slowly starting to creep back up. Let's say a warm-up round for Team DZX. But honestly, now they're on the point. Like, force Quick to use resources. Force them to actually play an neutral fight. There we go. The hazard has come back out. Turns out they can't play the Reinhardt. So they can't entirely play whatever they want. And Kiri Rush is online as well. So Team DZ... Never mind. Spoke too soon.
Never mind. Yeah, they can maybe try and turn this around, but no, it's already too little, too late. Brumus again getting a trade coming through. I mean, yeah, we talk about how the mechanical difference isn't. I mean, it is still there, but the biggest thing is definitely that experience. I think that planning coming through, or just that positioning. Yes, Hazard has so many tools at his disposal, but when he's caught out so deep, Random will just get punished like that. And now Quick have control of the point, and that's a whole different conundrum for Team DZ to solve.
Yeah, it's absolutely just a case of the meta at the moment, right? Dive is very mechanical. If we were in a meta something like Goats or a Lucio Moira, then you think you'd be able to mitigate that because the mechanics aren't as intensive. But speaking of intensive mechanics, Zyja pulls out the blade, just going to look for the front line.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Quick just legged it away from that Kitsune Rush, completely mitigating that impact. Now some late stagger kills. Again, a couple of trades here and there, but nothing too much. Snowdrop trying desperately to get some attention away from himself there. Cass is probably the most squishy kind of element here into the mix, but Team is still really struggling to get on top of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that they wanted to do if you're DZX in this situation is when you get the point, just try and stall it for as long as possible. Because, it's an objective game. You can win rounds of control with only 2 or 3 fight wins in theory, and you should have the ultimates to be able to do it.
Yeah, and there's no better way to get a fight win with an orbital ray, but there's a blade thrown in, beat from Natsuki, all the Q bouncing pressed at once, but Quick making so much better use of them. That rush from Skytor, yes, the orbital ray is kind of more powerful for a moment, but when you get those cooldowns flying on through, plus you throw in the double from Willis, there's just nothing that orbital ray does for you anymore. You have no defensive ultimates from the side of Team DZ in terms of the support composition.
Quick are going to go to the spawner because they recognise that ults can come in. Nice high noon from Snowdrop as well. This should just be it. There was a chance for potentially a Hazard in a Sojourn to try and rip off a sort of a pick and roll 1-2 punch, but no, Quick go to the spawn and they effectively hit them before they've even set up. That's going to be the team kill, and that should just be the map.
I mean, yeah, they can claim they got that one at the end, but one and done is all it'll be for Team DZ on this one. I think one team fight one is still something you can kind of walk away pretty happily. I think that's what they're here for. I'm not expecting to win. This is, like we said, kind of a mixed tournament to the skill level. We have some teams kind of lower end of tier 3, the higher end, Quick kind of bordering on tier 1, high tier 2, that kind of area. But any kind of experience you can get as a lower team, is something to be happy to walk away with. But yeah, that kind of is all you are walking away with, being quite honest, after that first match.
It feels very... it feels almost too harsh to just be like, yeah, there's no way that Quick loses. They're just too good. But I think, as I said, particularly in a meta like this, as I said, if it was something like Goats, if it was something like more of a brawl meta where you can play your rotations, you can play ult economy, you can play target focus, macro elements really come into it. But I think, honestly, it's just a state of 5v5. Like, we're not going to get Jace hates 5v5.mp3. We don't need to go that deep into it. But I do think the mechanical differences between teams is so crucial in 5v5. Surge off angles, Genji one-shots, no CC. Even with these higher HP pools, actually means you've got to be more mechanically intensive because the time to kill is longer, right? Like, when you're able to execute dives as well as Quick did this map because you're just better at the game than your opponents. There's nothing that they can really do. They just kind of have to walk up and fall over every time. Like, it's... I'm sorry, guys. Like, if Quick lose this, they all deserve to be fired. Like,
I mean, I would say, yeah, we saw a little bit of a flash here and there of some kind of push up, but Quick, they're the ones with the paycheck. There's the one that, have probably like 5 times the hours of most of the players on the position. And that's kind of what it comes down to. The mechanics, like you said, not having to see some crazy intensive macro. Yes, we saw them disengage the Kitsune Rush. Yes, we saw them, play their ult rotation better. But that's kind of just natural instinct for them they've gained through failing over and over in scrims, I'm sure, for a lot longer.
Hours of scrims,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can see the knowledge, right? When someone like Staitor is able to off-roll and just sort of like effortlessly slot it in, like there's no need to take credit away from this Quick lineup. Just they look very, very synergistic. Like some of those engages from Willis on the Hazard were actually so clean, by the way. I really like the use of his wall to try and put a bit more of a positive spin on the stream. So now we're waiting for map 2 pick coming in from Team DZS. So there's so many like letters and numbers in that name.
Yeah,
I got a bit stunned. But let's see what we're gonna go to. I
believe it's Havana. Yeah.
I mean, do you have a better widow?
And then top 10 hit scan Snowdrop. I'm not sure. Might take quite the dark horse to overcome that beast. I think most likely we'll just see the same kind of mirror come out from the Hazard. I think I say that with like Quick did go over to the Rhine, found out that Hazard still is really, really good. You still want him, even if you are kind of taking it more lightly. You still want a Hazard to face enemy Hazard. So I think they'll probably see them stick with that. But like we said, this is basically just an opportunity for both these two teams. I think for Quick, it's basically just how flashy can you get? How much of a montage kind of 5k can you go for? And for Team DZ, it's just how many team fights can you take? How much experience can you kind of force Quick Esports to give you here?
Yeah, absolutely. And playing in these face it like daily cups, I've been on the end of both. And I was talking about earlier before I went live about the CGL Goats experience. And that is, as I said, a composition where you can't really get mechanically outplayed that hard. There's a couple of like micro interactions, but it is very much a team-oriented comp. But even then, like being on the end of a beating against opposition that are just more experienced and if you've got more hours, higher elo, etc., it can be really hard to sort of keep yourself mentally focused. But I do think there's no shame in DZX into leaning into comfort picks, leaning into picks that are mechanically easier to pilot, something that will really allow them to focus on the fundamentals. And as we said coming in, like, while Stoutor did a brilliant job on Juno in the first round, now they've got to play Baptiste again. It's a difficult hero to operate in this composition. And whilst, they are very much experienced and they're going to be good at the game across all roles, being good at tank, I think often can translate to other roles if you're understanding. It's still mechanically different and it's still technically a weak point for DZX to attack. Like, they have an off-roll on Baptiste. That is something that you can punish.
Yeah. You can see random always trying to walk up and creep up some space here, trying to maybe set up that on or an off angle. But talking about off angles, there's Snowdrop completely left to his own devices, taking out 2 with just ease. Getting this, we see the nice Ashe mythic being shown. Maybe that's the bright side for Team DZX as Snowdrop takes that fight. I mean, Snowdrop get traded, but
it's a really nice play from Snowdrop, though. Like, on the vice versa, the same way that you want to try and simplify the game, for DZX, what you want to do in this situation, if you're Quick, to almost essentially wrap it up, is just throw in as many stimulants, force the enemy team to just constantly divert their attention. Attention is a resource right now, so any chance you get to force them to look at an off angle, it's just going to be more space for your tank. They're going to take less damage. And etc. And obviously, when you're able to take these ego peaks, knowing you're mechanically better, it makes the game so difficult. Like, ult peaks for just a second, their shield gets broken, and Natsuki is able to clean them up, which means they were able to walk into melee range.
Yeah, you can see that Snowdrop just peeking the same angle over and over again, but just complete and utter belief in his mouse. That's basically it. Doesn't even need his eyes, I'd reckon. Could do that blind. Taking that shot so many times. But next up, Willis looking to get another kind of classic big flux, and I mean there is a sleep opportunity, that kind of skill shot to come out to deny it. And again, I think the Ana really is the X factor here outside of that Widow. A big nade on this comp could be devastating, but Snowdrop just, already retaking the higher ground, not able to really get contested. As the entire Team DZX are just trying to force themselves down, laying what they can't do into this kind of composition.
Yeah, you can see the amount of
Ooh.
angles. That's a great shot from Vret, actually. With the high ground going up, this is unfortunately a massive flux. This might just result in a team wipe, actually.
Yeah. Willis not going to let his team sacrifice go in vain there. Completely powering up under that spotlight, finding 3. And now it's only 1:30 left on the clock for Team Z to try and break this iron hold that Quick are wrapping around the spawn.
The good news is that they've got Nano and potentially Kiri Rush. The sad news is I don't think any of these targets are particularly good to put Nano onto. Kitsune Rush is going to be great for them, but with Quick's ability to go first, they might not even get a chance to fully swing a good spawn angle, and of course the payload being so far away. That's a 1-for-1 trade, which forces the rally. It's not bad. It's kind of an econ win, actually, for Team DZX here.
Yeah, what a nice nade around there by the shield. A nice little play there by Rimus, but I mean, we can talk about nades as much as you can. The Widow headshots, though, a lot more of a certain fate to be unleashed. I mean, Quick do kind of have a little more tricky situation to walk into. 4 ults on the side of Team ZDX. Only the one. There's the sights being popped. Now the response coming out from the Team DZX Widow. Where will be the Nano going onto? I think it's onto the Sojourn, but the Honor gives her life for it. The lamp already being forced out. But there's a big flux though. That can maybe turn. There's no lamp to turn it around. And
nice
Random's found 2. And I think he even flux jacks to the Sigma. Zydra can't. No, do not let that man kill 2. Okay, good as 1.
It looks like they're actually going to have to back out. It's a huge flux. It took every ultimate coming out. Only the Kitsune Rush available. I said the Nano target had to basically go onto the Soj. Didn't really do anything. Just had every cooldown available to throw onto that damage boosted railgun. Kitsune Rush in the overtime fight though. Quick Esports are going to have to do it in the neutral. They've got Lamp to stable going into a late window rotation. But, that's an ultimate in itself. That's a one-shot headshot kill. And already it's 2-for-1 start to Death.
Willis now just holding down this cart, beating Random, getting some revenge for that flux shot. A little bit embarrassing, But you can't be too unhappy. They win their 1 ult fight to Team DZX, but they can't make it past 71 meters here on Havana. Looking to be our final map. Just how quick want to make it is kind of up to them.
Yeah, and I talked about the ability to punch up on certain compositions, and I think one comp that's even harder to punch up in on dive is snipers and poke. Because again, like any map that Widow is viable, it's so difficult to play against a Widow that is, just so experienced. Like Snowdrop is consistently find those picks, consistently find those angles. It was honestly some great little individual moments from Team DZX on that hold though. Nice flux. They found some nice nades they weren't able to convert. There was a kill from Vrex onto Snowdrop there that honestly did force like ultimates to come out from Quick, and that's exactly what you want. I think it was those couple of picks that they found that forced the rally, that forced the flux, that allowed them the opportunity to open up with the flux, right? But as we said, Havana first hold is pretty brutal, and largely thanks to the overwhelming power that Willis and Snowdrop were able to put out in just terms of damage pressure onto Team DZ. They have to look at too many people on the side of Quick, right? And it's always going to be a losing game from that position.
Yeah, and talking about losing, my bit of a jinx here for the side of Team DZ, because they don't really have the right composition to hold this kind of close, especially in the face of a Mei Hog, which now they're bravely walking into. Bravely might be the wrong word. There's a Mabel to kind of corral them off the premises. Hook missed, and oh my goodness, Rimmers is running it down and scaring away Willis. And Random's found the first pick onto Snowdrop. I mean, that's how you want to start it. Willis has missed his second hook of the day. This man is completely washed and needs to retire immediately. And Suki on the Ana, trying to keep his team alive, doing successfully. But, I mean, we talk about that. We are joking, and especially looking at the meters, Quick have lost the fight and already gone, like, practically halfway to that golden box of victory.
Yeah, obviously they have to play this corner, which means the push gets given for free. Willis has had enough of the hard experience, so it's okay, let me lock in. Let's just pick the hazard character.
Yeah, and it's just walking down onto Random. Random cannot win that front line trade, has to back up. Snowdrop might be a May, but he's living in the mindset of that Widowmaker, just finding headshots at the moment. Right now forced in such an awkward angle, almost taking his own head off there. And there is Willis to finish that kill. Zydra now off on the side. There's a nice anti. Can they find the trade-off of it? Random, though. Not able to be kept alive. Suzu had to investigate the backline alive, but no one could even touch it, looks like. And Team DZ, a brave effort, but eventually it is proven to be an inconsequential one. Is Quick take it 2-0.
Yeah, very strong showing from Quick there on this map. The hold, really, really good. So, not too much. I think you can be upset there if your Team DCX. You gave it your best shot, and unfortunately, just running to Quick in the bracket kind of happens, I guess. But yeah, clean performance from Quick though, showcasing some really nice flank plays and some good executions on timings. Sort of just a Microsoft presentation there, a PowerPoint on how to punish against sort of lesser experienced players in that way, with the angles, with the knowledge of the meta composition, etc. Everything perfectly on display for a very clean 2-0.
Yeah, I think clean was definitely just everything. We made some jokes about, little flashes, and I think you have to commend, like we said, Team DZX to, for showing up, for coming in, seeing a lot of the big names come out or name, because there are some teams here that I believe just have a single player signed to them, like Team Pack and Team Ghost 91, who have just those two players playing. Maybe a little J3 video or something, with the 5x stats, but
just 5 ringers, it's fine.
Yeah, something like that. But unfortunately, it will be, I believe, the end of their journey, possibly. Maybe it's double elimination. I'm not entirely sure. It is single elimination. That will be them done and dusted for the tournament. Congratulations, though, to there was an option to forfeit. That's always, the first kind of hurdle facing up these teams. Choosing not to forfeit, yeah, you can say it's a time waste, but it's not a waste of time for Team DZ. They get their experience, they go along, and it's a bit of fun. Next match, still probably, a pretty favorable matchup for Quick, but, a few more notable names, a lot more experience, I think, combined. It's Tanuki Kirin. I'm trying to remember the roster off the top of my head. I believe Melody was on this team, no longer is. I think it's Arhug, who was on Quick Academy previously. I have the roster now. Rug, Kylo Ren, Jen, Combat Frog, and Delta, and with Cager coaching as well. Yeah.
So the Cager coaching here is yes. A few players that I recognise. Kylo is one that I myself have actually coached previously. Someone that I've known since 2019. Very good on the Flyers. Not quite sure what name he's been making for himself in terms of the scrim scene since leaving the mid masters, the mid high masters in late 2020. But nice to see that he's still around and playing. And again, Quick are it looks like they've got everyone in now, so they're going to be playing basically full strongest lineup.
They are putting Zydra in. I believe previously they did just kind of keep Dip permanently in the roster, but I wouldn't be surprised kind of just let Zydra get some reps in, get some, official scrim kind of, hours going, because I think this is still a team you're very confident you can take. I think this is a team that,
right.
They can punch up to some degree. I think a lot more than Team DZ. They're kind of around the low tier 3, kind of mid tier 3. I think overall, I'm very happy to be proven wrong and kind of be shown their strength. But mostly I've seen these names across the boards where if Quick was in those tournaments, most likely everyone else would have FF'd. So we're just waiting on the map picks to start, and the lineup is finalized. I believe map 1 looks like Lijiang to me, to my very, very, very skewed and scuffed memory. But actually, a bit more familiar name has just been subbed in. It's Reich. Has been subbed in for Tanuki Kirin. I believe over... Who is that? Who was just subbed in over that? I've completely forgotten who Reich has been subbed in for. That's utterly replaced in my head. But I think a bit more of a notable name.
Yeah.
I mean, considering that that's the one I can remember at the moment.
It's been on
Gambit?
GT3 Gambit. Has been around. Is a
Flex
Well,
DPS, I think.
why is my knowledge of ranch completely gone? Okay, my
Right,
bad.
we've just been hit by the
Stuffcaster.
the
Yeah, I've been
Tanuki
smoked.
Kirin
I've been smoke bombed.
the Tanuki Kirin sponsored mind control has hit the quick stream. We should be firing back with our quick sponsored snipers. We're just on the line with Tobias to do that in a moment. But yeah, Lijiang going to be our first matchup here. And well, yes, we said how things have returned to kind of normality, and yes, whilst people are look to be on their more main roles, it's a more normal to looking roster. Dip has now replaced Yoham, so we yet again do not have Quick's regularly scheduled flex support in. It's going to be Snowdrop on Kiriko this time here, playing for the first map Night Market here on Lijiang.
Yep. Can someone in prod, if they're allowed to type, can someone say hi to Kylo for me? It's been a while since I've seen that guy. It's more known for his flyers, his Genji. I assume this is the same Kylo. On the Sombra, interestingly, I think Sombra is one that we've spoken about, is one that I've spoken about with people in around EU, and they think it's good into the hazard. So, let's see it, Kylo.
Yeah, let's see if you can put some evidence to that claim. But right now, they're just being stuffed into a corner quick. I mean, they're just entirely around that map. Dip finally let on the Genji, always a sight we love to see. There's the hack coming out. Not sure any follow-up coming as Delta is just being in. Just completely barrel stuff into this corner. It's Quicker taking the point. Kylo going in stealth. Can they get an engage going? No, they're going to wait and see. But now Quick have control of the point, and Tanuki have to just walk into the kill box they're setting up.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that they want to walk in, there we go. The Sojourn tries to play the game and unfortunately cannot on this angle. I think just showcasing the mechanical gap, right? The gap in knowledge. Junker Queen into Hazard already seems like a terrible matchup. It already seems really hard to the amount of disruption that the Hazard can do to the people around the J Queen. But just the spacing was so perfect from Quick in that first fight that once Tanuki are corralled into that corner, basically at the back of the map, Quick just cap, and then it's already like this is basically one fight, and they're going to get about 50% off it minimum.
Yeah, it's rotation that Tanuki take. It's just so long-winded. They have to go all the way right side because Willis is standing up on that high ground. Combat has got Snowdrop in his sights, randomly taking his life. Combat's even lower. Luckily, a nice mega health that will keep him up, and Quick is still holding on to this point. But Dip, Snowdrop, has come up to an orbital ray nearly, and Delta can probably match that soon with the rush unless Quick really put on the gas. Dip might be in trouble. He needs to get a nice bailout there from Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
there's the first pick. Snowdrop thinks it's winnable, but I mean, Reich seems to be putting a lot of evidence that it's quite the contrary. Finding 2 rails kill there as will give us life for it. Dip still holding on as that will allow Quick to get 75% on the board. They do expend a pretty expensive ultimate in that orbital ray. They didn't do all too much.
Yeah, really nice play from Tanuki. They're only basically using one ultimate to get the punish in. You can see, again, just throwing the different things, not just completely front to backing 5v5, everyone in view of everyone else. Kylo goes off on the off angle. It forces attention, and then they get the punish. Unfortunately, this time, Dip does basically the same and picks off combat.
Dip leading towards the enemy spawn, just really showing the mental gap. They're setting up for the entire next fight as Zyger will clean up the current one. Does mean that there'll be 3 ults, with only 2 to respond for the side of Quick, but I mean, it's going to come down to can Fletchman come through as everyone from Tanuki is still just tumbling over the dominoes, looking to really threaten like it could spiral into a full map loss. There's the beat to save the rug, and I'm not even sure it will do that. He will, and he has to have a massive queen out here, but someone has to touch the point, and combat's being corralled by Willis. Has to dash on through that overclock out as well. And I mean, right to they do get the point, actually, which is quite impressive. But now what? As a Reich is already dead.
I think the timings for Tanuki were completely botched. They lose the fight, they get the flip first, and then they try and get into this sort of split fight where they're already missing 1 or 2 people, and then it's 96, and they're basically on the spawn. They have to send it over, and Quick just almost completely mind control them there. Really nice. If you're, again, in that situation where you're down on ultimates, the fact that you have point on control always gives you a massive advantage, right? Like, the enemy have to walk into you. You know where they're going to walk in from. and to almost fall over in that quick fight like that. No pun intended. But with how easily, with how in rapid succession members of Tanuki Kirin just kind of died without big resources being expended. By the time Dip had already dashed and pulled out the blade, 2 were dead for that Tanuki roster. You really can't afford that to happen. The last thing you want to be doing is falling over easy to this composition, essentially just getting poked out in the neutral. Because then when you know that this team who have more experience, who are just, well, favourites, when you are the underdog, when you're playing against the quote-unquote overdog, you're never going to win fights against their ultimates, because ultimates are ones that you want to use to essentially level the playing field. So falling over in these neutral fights, quote-unquote, not good, is effectively the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, and it feels like Tanuki are kind of playing these ult fights with the Sombra, with the Queen, because unless you're hitting some crazy skill shots, as Reich has done onto Natsuki there, you're going to really struggle to kind of win these neutral engages. It's Quick still, though, have a lot of trading potential, try and turn this one around. There's a shout out from Rug, and Type Quick will just avoid that. Point yet to go the side of Tanuki, so the fight will not lose too much percentage either way, as Diff has spotted out Kyler and has now had the assistance of Combat Frog, trying to keep him up, and they're going to be caught on the back foot there. You just can't win these side fights against Diff and Natsuki, unfortunately. And the health bars on Tanuki are getting low, and there's not really any kind of response here out from Quick. I said, though, Rock does kind of find a nice axe under Willis. He stays far too long in the Queen's effective range, and now Rock gets to kind of walk on forward. Unfortunately, misses a knife there, misses an opportunity to turn this fight around, but a hack on the dip could be the answer, but no, the deflect is good.
Nice.
In a moment, yeah, Willis will be back, though.
I mean, Tanuki do a great job of just living in this fight, right? Like, once Ranch gets the pick, they're 5v4. This time he gets taken down, Snowdrop, showcasing some of that hit scan prowess on the projectile this time. Those kunais traveling like bullets through the eyes of that Sojourn. But I think before this this great mechanical play from Snowdrop, you saw how well they played. Once they got the pick, they stabilized, yes. They lost Kylo on that off-angle thanks to the crazy good flank control from Dip and Natsuki, right? But then they were able to force that kill onto Willis. Remember, that hazard is like, what, 80% damage reduction in that block? So that takes a lot of effort to fall that angry Stotsman, and that's absolutely what they did. And now they've gotten themselves 38% with ultimates to be able to retake.
Yeah, there's the both rushes coming out in exchange. Now the fight amped up here in these close quarters, so I'm trying to keep desperately everyone alive. Zaja has a rail now to find the connection. Now has a lot more in his back pocket with the overclock, finding the kill there onto Combat, taking down Rug low as well, who still has that Queen ult, but going to choose just to regroup there as probably the smarter decision, but Quick will now get another hold on this close choke.
Yeah, and with the amount of spam pressure that Quick have got, considering this comp is very, very mobile as well, it's surprising the amount of poke this composition can do. It's going to be really hard for Rug to get in with this Rampage. You know they're expecting it as well, and look, they're just choosing to go before it.
Oh, Combat Speed did not make the connection in time, but luckily, Reich, the Martin and passive kicking in there to take out the bleed, and the big Queen out there will connect onto just enough members to surely turn this fight around. I said that, though, Natsuki has been stuffed into a corner as well. Is somehow living with, getting away with, well, not murder, quite the opposite. He's just keeping both the DPS of Tanuki occupied. And Quick, looking to try and make use of that. Now, Downpour comes out and so brings down Arhog to the Hells. Overclock out in desperation from Reich is the best adjective for it, but what connections can he have? They haven't even found the flip yet. And it might not even. It could be a final fight situation here. And there's no tank on the field for Tanuki, no ult either, and Snowdrop has the rush, unleashing it. It's just nothing that Tanuki can do. Yes, they kind of wing that fight for so long, but winning is only so much until you've won, and that, unfortunately, is going to be well out of Tanuki's grasp. Unless Kylo Ren's, unless your coaching gives Kylo Ren to get a 6 count blade, no, unfortunately not. That'll be the 2-0 for Quick to take map 1.
Yeah, and it was scary for them for a little bit, but once you see the Kiriko able to get back safely and pop the rush, you kind of know it's over. I think the big thing for me, again, when I'm talking about these scenarios where a team has to punch up, as Quick's opponents are constantly having to do in this tournament, it's things like losing your tank there, for example. It's almost like a hard concept to describe, but you just sort of looking at the lobby objectively, like if it's a 4v4 fight and Tanuki are in a potential stable or winning position and then they lose their tank like that, it kind of doesn't matter how many members of Quick that have been taken down unless it's literally like 3 of them. If it's a 1-for-1 trade or even a 2-for-1 trade, the fact that you lose your tank, who is someone that is objectively able to hold space for your team, get easy final blows, will just have more HP, which means they can't just get insta-deleted by the enemy team, right? Like, it's more than often than not this easy damage, these survivable characters, these tanks that are able to, if you're, let's say, a tank of this level from Rogue, you're able to quite comfortably still kill these DPS and supports just because that's what your role is designed to do, and you have more HP than they do. You can quite literally stat check them. But when they fall like that, it's just like such a big pillar of their composition is gone that, particularly if Quick are able to get their tank Willis back online in the next even 15 seconds, like, your fight is so cooked in terms of like stats and economy from there, right? Like, it's so rough being down a tank when you have to punch up effectively. I don't know how you do it. Like, it's
trying to match trying to turn it into a clutch kind of battle into Quick, where all those players are way more reliable.
You can't do it, right?
No, you can't. We saw Natsuki essentially 2v1ing for so long there, which means that even when they have the tank on the field, we said that, he basically can be kind of out, beat the DPS side of Quick, because he has better stats. But it doesn't matter if there's no one else trying to doing any damage on his team because they're all chasing Lucia across the map. And it just puts Nuki in such a weird position where they have to kind of play this. They can't make a mistake, but also Quick are just going to make less mistakes for them to punish. So once they do find that open, they can't let go. And it was also kind of the opposite, where they found the opening, they just couldn't come through. They couldn't get the clean finish in. And they have to really be looking at this coming into this next map here, Route 66, and they're still sticking with this Queen variation here.
I like that they're sticking with it, though. This is clearly something that they live or die by, and it's shown in parts that it absolutely can work. I think one of the sort of the play patterns of 5v5 oftentimes feels like proactive plays, going for really aggressive proactive plays can either checkmate the enemy or like checkmate you, right? Like we saw in that fight where they were able to get the pick onto Willis to flip the point on control center, right? Like Willis swings the corner and just actually swings into too many people, so they just shoot and kill him because he's a big hitbox and he doesn't have any of that right click to mitigate the damage. And once the tank of Quick goes down, then it becomes easy pickings for Tanuki. No team in the world is going to lose that fight from that spot. But again, on this fight, unfortunately, we're now on escort, and this means that the Zidra Sojourn can come into play, and it's just going to be so much space to hit railguns. Like, look at the damage with the primary fires already, man.
I mean, like you can't really walk onto the Sojourn either. It's just I guess OC coined the term Wall of Death, but actually, it's the Ranch of Death at the moment. Find the first blow onto Natsuki. Can Zydra get a pick in time? It will be Willis that does that instead onto Kylo Ren. But Delta find the Kiriko gap is pretty crucial there, and that would actually break this, what can be quite a bit of a momentum stopper of a spawn hold quite early. Can't be too unhappy with that if you're Tanuki.
And one thing I'm going to have to look at here for the side of Tanuki is what exactly this J Queen and this Sombra are looking at for the primary composition. Because you're not really going to kill Willis early into the fight. So it almost feels a little bit defeatist, unpurposeful to use cooldowns on this hazard, right? Like, look, Rug puts his whole into it and then he just leaves. They killed it, though, so...
Oh, and Willis has been punked off the high ground, so actually...
Oh, there you go.
I guess, it does seem to be that very much the strategy is just hack Willis, knife Willis, force every resource on Willis, then either exploit that and run with someone else, or, eventually whittle that down and take out, the immortal beast that is that hazard. But Quick is still holding this high ground. I mean... don't have a tank that can easily access it, and it's really punishing them, but Zydra will graciously drop down into them. Less graciously, though, he's looking for a rail, but Snowdrop will give us life to unleash that Kitsune Rush, and Dip will take out the enemy Kiriko as well, but Arhawk is currently on a spree. Dip, though, trying to get one back on his own range, answering the call, but Dip has killed 3 this fight. Gonna have to look for 4, though. Look, it's 4. It's 5. Look, he's looking for the 5.
Yeah, and it looks good in the start. It looked good, right, for Tanuki. As I said, I was questioning where these cooldowns from Kylo and Rud were going, because it feels like onto Willis it's a zero-sum cost. Like, they're going to live every single time. It took 2 rotations from the Junta Queen to finally fall that angry Stotsman, that flying Stotsman. Once he goes down, they just use all the resources and they can't deal with Sidra on the high ground. And again, it looks like this Sojourn is just so strong, absolutely tearing through them. Goodbye Rug, goodbye Delta, goodbye Combat. And that's just a clean fight win with 90 seconds left.
Do you stare your queen in the eyes as she gets dove by 5 people, or as Delta did try and walk in and get some healing, but then walk into the face of the overclock? You can't really do much there, but you have to look to the future, a future that is getting shorter and ever fading. Only a minute on the clock for Tanuki. They have 3 ults on the board, Quick only with 2. And there's the first one out, so proactive, like we were saying, and it's just connected onto all 4 members. The entire Tanuki lining up in a feeding tube there, for Willis to just gobble on up, and now only 50 seconds left on the clock.
So the good news is that Kylo Ren has got EMP, and EMP is absolutely a fight changer. It's one that is almost a game violation because of the amount of HP damage it does, and the fact that their cooldowns are restricted. They know cooldowns, they can't outplay you with them. But unfortunately, after that EMP goes down, you are quite weak, and they might just even go before it. They might try and force EMP here. But there we go.
And they will, which I mean, Tanuki will most likely win this fight, but can they win the war? I say that I think gets booped off the map by Natsuki. No way, the trades. This comp, you can never underestimate just the pick potential from all these players. And now it was starting off so well for Tanuki, has gone all the way down the drain, as is their time. Only 8 seconds left, draining down. They do have 3 on car. Arg is surely able to get back in time, but he has had to deal with the rush from Snowdrop and another blade from Dip. There it is. Quick have to win this quite briefly, though. Otherwise, Delta will be able to match the later rush. And the good hack, actually, on the Dip, threatens life, and an even better Queen as well, to take out Suki. Kylo Ren investing all cleanse. Willis also mirroring this Queen back. There's the blade out from Dip, but the hack is good. The cleanser's even better, though. What a prediction there from Snowdrop coming out. Dip will find his one. Now man advantage for Quick. Can they convert it into the win here? Willis just getting whittled down. The axe, a nice boot. They're denying it, but the knife will threaten that. Even a better boot guy from Combat. He's just racking them up at the moment. And again, can they turn it around? Snowdrop will find one. They're still threatening it. What is the option here? Zydra, the shot, it's just a flesh wound again. Somebody's got these killed. It's just a stalemate at the moment. And Willis is back in the fray. Actually, he wasn't even killed. He was kept alive, and now he's the one dishing out death himself. Delta has fallen. Willis will give us life for it. The beat from Combat, so they're desperate to get this first point capture.
I think they got it.
Thinks it's winnable. I mean surely, but there's an overclock.
It's going to have to be a hell of a clutch. Snowdrop falling. I thought they'd actually got it. I thought the Lucio Kiriko peel onto the Genji was incredible. But Tanuki's focus in this long fight, by the way, that is so impressive from them. I don't think that can genuinely be overstated. That is such a long fight. So many decisions, so many cooldowns have to go your way. Remember, again, we talked about the mechanical differences, having to punch up into this Quick roster. They stayed so focused during this overtime fight. Their target priority, their use of cooldowns, not over ulting, not overextending. So good, and they're rewarded with a first point cap from it. Genuinely great work. Now they have an EMP to snowball as well. Just showcasing what you can do when you put yourself in a position to sort of win that uphill battle.
I mean, these all might be ranked players, but they're currently taking that premise into the official stages, and Quick haven't just slow their roll, kind of getting another grasp on this chokehold. EMP set up, unleashed there onto 3 members of Quick, but it'll give us life for it. No escape tool available. And there's the Queen up to as well. Clean everything up, cleaving through an enemy team. Late stagger onto Reich in Combat as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, the EMP probably just needed to be outside of the Sojourn LOS. Great positioning from Zydra. Obviously, Kylo being almost forced out of him. They know they have to EMP early in the fight, right? Otherwise, Quirky just going to take advantage of that and ult before the EMP to really kill their tempo. But it's just a beautiful punish from Zydra with that Sojourn. Does not get hit by the EMP, and it's got a railgun straight for the face of Kylo Ren, who's now going to go over to the Genji.
Yeah, but there's the other Genji on the field with a lot bigger of an impact right now. The blade coming out, cutting through. And yes, Tanuki are holding on to the ult for the most part. Again, trying to play for this kind of late fight, or last fight, sorry. Yet again, only 45 seconds, but quick. They're just showing the difference tempo. That all depression was a spawner, and Delta's been taken out by the stray poke there, and they're shouting on into the spawn, and Kylo Ren's walking out of it as is Combat. You can see all the members of Quick coalescing outside of the spawn. You do not want to walk into that Tempest, but they will, and now Quick have an even better position to spawn camp from.
Yeah, this is a brutal spawn camp coming in. That already took away a fight. No time for Tanuki to charge their ultimates. Even if they use the Q buttons, they're going to be using them effectively in their own spawn. Look at the damage that Genji is taking from Tanuki, from Carlo, to just even get into the payload, get into the fight.
There's the overclock. I think the rush there, it's pretty much cosmetic. No one else can actually kind of get up in the face and properly use it. And Zydra's, though, overclock will get kited out now. Overtime has been triggered. If they drop, they have to walk into the Queen ult from Rog, but Ryan's already fallen. There's the beat from Natsuki, but there's the Queen ult from Rog, and it misses. Not a single connection comes through. There's no self-healing either, which means Ahag will fall Delta as well. And Willis, he sees the Queen, he matches it, and he bests on it as well. And Tanuki's roll, he stops 38 meters into second point.
Yeah, I mean, the non-tank heroes are just so standard that you really can just plug and play whatever tank you want or whatever tank you feel is strongest on this map, and it really doesn't make a difference how you play as long as your tank is able to be proactive. This core of Lucio, Kiri, Sojourn, and then a flanker, either being Genji or Tracer, has been meta since basically the start of Overwatch 2. And if it's not been meta, it's basically been like A tier, A minus, shall we say. Its play patterns are so focused, so practiced that basically everyone knows how to play it, and everyone who is having aspirations of playing at a top competitive level will have one of these characters in their roles, respective hero pool, either a Sojourn or for a flex DPS and, a Kiriko for a flex support, etc. But again, it's just the idea of repetition. Quick Esports just change the tank and nothing else changes about the way they play the game. It just gives effectively more playmaking to Willis on that Junker Queen. And it's the same comp. Willis is just on Hazard. Nothing really else can be said. I think, I could go into a point how I think fundamentally Overwatch tweeted a while ago how they're going to be looking at groundbreaking PvP changes. I think unless they deal with this core 4 of heroes, I don't think much will change. To be honest, that's my opinion. I think about 10 heroes plus in the roster need to be reworked because they're just not as good as this 4 that we're seeing on the side of Quick Esports that are not named Hazard. And we're gonna see now on Quick's attack just how good this 4 are able to map control and find picks. And this will be the final thorn, hopefully in the coffin for Quick here to sink Tanuki down and out of this bracket.
Yeah, they've got a lot of thorns on that Hazard character to start nailing into the side of Tanuki. I mean, they've even given up on that Queen aspiration, gone over onto the Hazard reality. Combat already having to use the amp on themselves, which means that they can't really go aggressively, and Quick are able to take that initiative now up onto Tiger. Nice people to deny them down, and again, it's just buying more time. The X factor in these neutrals is always going to be the Sojourn. If they can open up a shot for a dash with the Hazard or Genji, it can completely change how the entire fight goes. And Kai's already had his dash forced out, and Ahog, his life choked out as well. Snowdrop. I mean, what is it with Quick players and just being good at Kiriko? I mean, I know they have experience on, playing with it and listening to coaching from it, but it is still a bit absurd to see come through.
Yeah, Tanuki try and go for a proactive play because they know that they can't really contest the cart, which is being pushed this whole time. So they try and look for any kind of angle, and Quick just punish it. And now that Quick have the sideline advantage, Tanuki have to rotate into them. This is going to be a really difficult fight for the side of Tanuki here.
Yeah, you can only see all the kind of scuffed angles trying to come out. I mean, nothing more scuffed than doing straight into a straight headshot from Zydra. There's the Kiriko rush as well, just to make sure this is nice and brief. Snowdrop throwing in headshots through the wind into the skull of Combat, looking for some more onto Delta as well. And I mean, yeah, Tanuki, like I said, they have to go early because if you give time to Zydra, he's probably going to get the pick quicker than Reich, and that was just the case there. But now you have to go even earlier because that win condition, the end of the series, end of the map, is literally in sight, only, 38 meters away.
Yeah, and I think it is almost a bit difficult to try and pull up with engaging colour points here in these downtime fights because genuinely, like, in the hands of better players, this composition of Quick, in particular those 4 heroes that I mentioned, not named Hazard, are just so strong synergistically that they're able to dictate basically everything and completely choke their opponents out of the series. Like, look at this. Dip pulls it in spawn. They're so far up. There's no flank that's able to be covered.
Yeah.
They're completely kill boxed. Dip is just free killing their whole team. and that is going to be the series.
That's just a quick 2-0 expected. I think as good as a showing as you're expecting from Tanuki Kirin, if we're being honest, given the caliber difference of these players. And this is kind of a team that are more maybe up and coming. You see that by their commitment to playing. And I've seen their names so many in these Overdrive qualifiers, in Masters qualifier, Expert qualifiers across the board. You love to see people still being invested into the scene. Coming into the scene with those kind of aspirations to go on the path to pro. But yeah, like we said, Quick just are so much more clearer on their win conditions. You saw they knew they had the old advantage. They knew they had a positional advantage on that last fight. They just stuffed the choke. It's a 4v4 because I think it was someone was on point. I'm not sure who it was. Maybe Natsuki.
It doesn't matter.
They know they can still win, and Tanuki, they have to rush the point regardless through the ults, through the position. They can't just whittle it down and take it out. So, yeah, again, it's just another macro gap coming out from the side of Quick, and Tanuki are eliminated in our second round of the tournament. Hopefully, we'll see who they're up against next. I'm hoping it's SRP Check because that would be quite an exciting match.
Might be a banger actually.
Yeah. We have seen them play before. I believe it was a 3-1 in Masters qualifiers, possibly. No, OWCS, some tournament recently that I casted with lovely Egda, which I mean, Dip just went ballistic on, to be quite honest, and they just kind of. The flexibility and the hazard is just too much of a struggle for the rigidity of the SR Peak Check brand of Hero Pool or Hero Puddle.
It looks like we might be throwing it to a break, but before that, honestly, again, Quick's performances on these meta heroes is so impressive. There's not much I've been able to highlight because I don't think that Quick are doing anything particularly unique or different than a lot of good Sojourn Genjis I've seen. But that just by default makes them a good team of this composition, Their Sojourn timings are just what I've seen from every other Sojourn for the last 8 months. Their Genji timings are absolutely the same. The mechanical outplays, again, I don't think it's something I can quote unquote expect, but Dip's plays are on the Genji just so clean. And whilst it definitely feels a little bit less flashy, a little bit less headliner, because, as I said, the frequency at which these heroes have appeared, they're doing everything correct on these characters. And it showcases a really good understanding and the same level of mastery that you see when you watch other Genjis, other Sojourns, other Lucios, other Kiris at this level. These exact same punishes, these exact same timing opportunities to actually make a play are being executed on, and it's resulting in very little counterplay opportunity for a worse enemy team. So Quick are doing great so far.
Yeah, they will have, I believe, a bit more of a tougher opponent in either Moths or EMEA, so waiting for that match to finish. But in the meantime, we'll be, as you said, throwing it to a quick break. So we will catch you for that match in just a short moment. But until then, thank you all for watching, and we will see you in just a moment. Hello and welcome back to the quick POV here for the Overdrive Cup February qualifiers. And yes, there might be an Overdrive Cup finals tomorrow, but that is the January finals as they were delayed due to master qualifiers. So this is the qualifier for the February finals, just to make it as as confusing as possible. Let's face it, a lot to do. We're starting off on the pool against a team a little bit, a little bit more bark behind them, so maybe a little more of a bite expected during Mirai, a team that made top 16, I believe, in OWCS group stages, team that I've seen before, played with a couple of the players, and I think this is the match I'm most excited for all day.
Absolutely. I think the other two teams that we saw put a valiant effort, but were just unfortunately in Quick's way. And obviously all these tournaments being it free and open to enter, usually teams of Quick's level don't sort of elect to go into them because scrims are just better. But it looks like we've got some very notable names for the side of Ure Mirai. On the left here, Linrax, Santi, Fenris, and Zero are all names that I
Yeah,
recognize.
I believe Fenris is Pikachu Piru, who's just gone under the different, changed the new name. I believe he got rank 1 at some point. Santi is a very prolific Spanish tank that I've had the pleasure of subbing for a team that he's on for. But Zero coming out to mirror dip here on the far is pretty expected to see on this first map just for the spam damage. And Quick have taken a little more of an aggressive position, a lot more domineering over the point to start things off.
Yeah, and obviously Pharaoh post rework is less of a skybox moth presence and more of a I can still off angle, but I'm going to be focusing on trying to blow up your very mobile carries with dive bombs, or just blowing up your tank. As we're getting a little bit of a Pharaoh duel in the air here. We're seeing a Sojourn mirror as well. Just everyone trying to play for their 1v1s. We're in TDM.
Yeah, it's all about the duels at the moment. But the moment Yumirai are getting the better of the one on the point. Natsuki, they're running it down onto Piku and Zydra. Yet again, also opening things up with another great headshot there. And Snowdrop is also sticking on to this Kiriko. So still that level of confidence exerted from Quick. It's just exuding across the screen considering that they are playing off-roll still, even to a fellow top 16 OWCS team, I believe.
Yeah, excellent playmaking there coming down from Quick. Natsuki notices that the Sojourn is by themselves, no one's able to peel in time. And that Lucio, you can do good damage, especially when you land all of those left clicks that Natsuki did, and it's a simple boop combo to finish them off. And yeah, Fenris gets caught on rotation, isn't able to be peeled, and basically sat on the low ground, as they still are. Like, this Sojourn has been sealed off really well by the side of Quick. Like, Fenris is really struggling to find an angle to get value here right now.
Yeah, there's the rush coming out from Linrax, though. Because Hamnus always have to try and keep Santi up, which is a bit of a tall order. We'll get it straight onto Natsuki, 2 for 2, but tank advantage for Quick is definitely massive. Taking that even further, Snowdrop will help find that final little splinter there onto Fenris. And yet again, another win from Quick. Even now taking their first ult fight.
Yeah, and Linrat's, of course, from Linrat's Lamp Me, the previous team that he was on. Gas Tier 3 is not a job as well. I believe that was a former team of Linrax himself, the Scandinavian flex support here. Been doing well so far, but unfortunately, not in this fight. I cursed it. My bad. Sorry, Linrax. Just blown up by Dip.
I mean, Zero has been doing a fair bit of blowing himself, it seems. Finding 3 picks there as well. I think, yeah, there's still a man advantage, I believe, for Quick. And they will manage to touch onto the point. So Drop using both cooldowns to buy a little bit extra time. And now the rest of the team has come back, but straight into a headshot. Von Fenris is the housewarming gift that Zydra will receive. And now they have to burn even more time to get a proper fight coming back.
Yeah, we're seeing the difference in quality of this EMEA roster versus some of the previous opposition that Quick have been playing against today. Like, once the Sojourn is able to be given that angle, they find that pick onto Zydra. They have to be careful. Nice use of the Disruptor Orb as well to slow down the choke. This time, it looks like Mirai they're not really rushing anything so far. Quick Esports having to go with ultimates first to try and just force a play.
Yeah, it's all the ultimates across the board, but the pick comes through with a nice headshot from Linrax. No lamp available for Zydra there. Now, Quick seem to still trying to wrang this point away. A lot more easier now that Nyx has been trading Natsuki, though, as well. I believe that it's still a man advantage for Yurima. Ryan Willis is holding on for dear life, comforted by that Suzu there as well. Yet again, they have to kind of bide their time, and I mean, Yurima, they're making full advantage of that clock.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just 3 points. Sometimes in Overwatch, you can just win by doing nothing, and Mirai doing a great job of just not really doing anything too much right now. There's no need to force a play. This Hazard needs to sort of walk up into you to be able to get that hard engage with that jump slash. And if you're not in range of that, then hey, there's no one for him to dive on, so he's just going to get poked. Now look, Willis has to go to the point to force someone to drop to him, so it's a nice play from this Quick tank, but Mirai should be able to read it and counter.
Ooh. I believe Limax just rushed into the wall of Willis there, which means that Snowdrops gets a much deeper and more effective. And there's Dip as well with that barrage. Zero trying to get one. He does get his on Dip, but that's all. And only 7 or 3% away for Quick from taking this up. Can a touch come through? No overtime triggered as well. And Quick, I mean, it's been like a bit of an exponential, it's gotten tougher and tougher and tougher. And, it's nice to see them actually kind of getting challenged, actually kind of getting pushed here. But, when the going gets tough, they do snap back even harder.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very good play to go to the objective there. As I was saying, on the flip side, like Mirai should expect them to go to point. They can see them rotating to it. But Quick just play that rotation so well. They send the tanks to point, which pressures the objective. It forces them to drop. Otherwise, they're going to give the cap for free. And once they do, that creates a gap in their composition, almost like a gap in their formation. And Dip punishes that attention diversion with a barrage on the back line. So beautifully executed. Just again, waiting for those timings, looking for something to open up with the ability at which their characters can traverse and scale the map. We're basically on flat mirror for both of these teams. I think TP was elected to go for by Quick, so the rest of Quick are going to get there onto the point objective first, and this could be big. With some of these pillars, some of these choke points, I think the wall of Willis in particular could be a big cooldown in this fight, assuming this Genji 1v1 doesn't go too awry. Oh, Dip on 4 HP!
Yeah, it did get so much value, there's so much resources, but the rest of Quick not able to push through there, even with the weakening on the rest of the team. And Zero alive on a sliver of HP there. Nice Suzu out there from Linrax. And yeah, Quick really needed that to be the trigger, for that to be their surge into attack, but just weren't able to. The rest of EMEA stood strong, and now they're standing even stronger, even prettier, with 15% on the point and counting up.
Like, and I thought they overloaded that lane, right? Like, I thought there was too many people on that side that they just, even though Dip lives, it's massive value because they're able to win the 5v2 elsewhere. But the fact that Dip goes down is massive, and now Santi gets picked off though. So again, losing your tank, it's only 20%, but it's the big 20%. So to speak, and yeah, you just can't hold point with your Hazard dead, right? But quickly back to what I was saying. When you overload like almost a quote-unquote lane like that, you try and basically send 3 people to deal with Dip. You've got like a 5v2 if you count the numbers, 4v2 if you count the numbers elsewhere on the map that you should be able to take and win, and then collapse on the 3 that are just killing your 1. So you have a numbers advantage if they overcommit like that, but it just wasn't able to come to fruition, and Mirai punish.
Yeah, but actually, they're also punishing that very aggressive Kitsune Rush, completely kiting out, and now Limrax has one of his own, completely uncontested, with no ults on the field for Quick to come back. We'll have to just attempt to mirror that and completely kite away as well. And Zydra will do on a sliver of HP. They will have to probably give the point here, unless someone can, probably dance and ping pong around. They will do that, but Santi will take out Zydra. That's a big pick. He's going to take a lot more from Zydra. He will take out Limrax. Dip following up onto Fenrir there as well, but Santi will take out Natsuki though. Zydra just pumping out damage, pulling down corpses, and taking this fight the side of Quick.
Yeah, both of these compositions, obviously being in the mirror, is so crazy to watch in real-time speed, because it just feels like damage is being flung about left and right. Poke being traded very, very carefully, because both of these teams know that if anyone on the enemy team gets under 100 HP or they get under a critical amount of HP, then that is just their go button. You see how quickly both of these teams are collapsing. It's just like 20 seconds where nothing, and then everyone dies all of a sudden. It's finally the damage is able to actually be stuck through. Linrax falls there thanks to the headshot from Snowdrop. And this is a huge win for them economically, because it's just a neutral, and now they've got Rain and Beat to go for potentially what could be a last fight if they go to the spawn.
I mean, yeah, that seems to be the plan here. Zero gets trapped up, no deflect to keep themselves alive either, and this is just spiraling down into a last fight here. Can a touch even come through is unlikely, but this has to be kept alive. There's the Beat to do just that. Overclock from Fenrir is so far back, he has to slide towards his spawn, for goodness sake. No targets anywhere near his cross. There's a whole restraining order on them. Zero trying to get up close and personal now with the blade, backed up with the Beat there from Nyx as well. But again, Quick just live. They just sustain. Zero on 7 HP, again dashing away from the danger, having to try and mark Willis, who's happily able to dodge away. Sort of looking for kills. Santi, though, not so fortunate in there and living there on this point. Zero finds a trade. Willis, again, it's back and forth at Quick, finally getting those swings to go in their favor and sticker them as they will take this second control point and first map.
Yeah, this one was a bit more one-sided in terms of this round than the first one. But Quick really execute map control again. The distance, I think, at which the Hazard needed to cover every single time, they had to watch the Hazard on that long angle. They either punished the Sojourn trying to pop up on the left side a bit too early, or they just poked that tank or someone behind them. and very difficult place to maneuver into the damage and in particular the mobility. Because as I said, once a squishy got under 200 HP, Quick were just going, and they were going with purpose. I think Genji into that composition. Actually, I'll throw it over to my play-by-play caster because I'd love to hear insight. I'm looking at this comp right, Nat, and I'm thinking Genji into this comp feels like so difficult because everyone on the enemy team, everyone else can 1v1 you, and it feels like you need resources to go before you can engage. So until then, you're just waiting. Your dash is both your engage and your escape. So if you don't time your dash correctly, you're just dead. Deflect feels like makes you live for like half a second longer. Obviously, wall climb again, pretty cosmetic into this composition. But it feels like both Dip and Zero were able to get like insane value. Would you say that just like is accounted for the mastery that they've got on these heroes, or do you think it's potentially a little bit easier than I'm potentially estimating in this comp? Like, what do you think about Genji in this standard composition, as I said, that I've been rattling on about all day?
No, I honestly completely agree with you. Genji just has to play so much more safer than you kind of have to. Yes, because you have to kind of treat, like I said, dash a lot of the time has to be as escape tool because there's so much that can force like your deflect. Like that the dashes coming out from Santi, from Willis, always forcing out the deflect so fast. The poke, the rail from Sojourn, headshots from Kiriko. You do have to play safer. I would say it's less of like you're doing nothing because what the most common pairing we will see is Zero and Nyx and Natsuki and Dip will go on off angles, a hard fight for those lanes. And that's generally kind of what you have to do. But you have to, especially at this level where everyone's has the aim, you do have to play it a lot safer than you typically see with these Genji comps. So I do agree with you there.
Yeah, and I think Genji for me is a character that sort of, it used to be, obviously you remember the Genji's Hacksaw of 2016 and the like in the Ilk, where you would just very much play neutral, hard dive with your Winston, and then look to go for blade plays. And then I think over time he sort of more transitioned for me into a brawl character, comboing with like Orisa Holtz, for example, in that poke composition. And now he's sort of back to that more dive element, this time playing on the lane with your Lucio, almost like a Tracer would in that same way. And this was sort of analysing the state of Genji here. Zidra's on the high ground, taking so much free damage actually. Not quite built up in terms of ult charge, but I think in a pretty good spot positionally for Quick to be able to go for a hit. Looks like it didn't work though, because Willis is just dead, and I'm actually not sure how.
What? Okay, I was looking at that, I was so lost, because for the longest time, I was getting my teams mixed up, because how is Zero standing there for so long? Like, the position there was so all over the place, so wacky, that I could not keep up with. I could not follow that. I genuinely thought the sides were flipped for a moment, but yeah, Willis just staying way too much in the chaos for way too long. As soon as you can't bail you out that much kind of length of time. So yeah, first death goes to Willis. The entire team has to back out from that. And Santi taking out Dip. You see what we're seeing your words kind of come into fruition there. The deflect's probably forced, the dash has been forced, so you're trying to look to get up on a clean reset. But no, you just have to play safe. You have to let your Soj and your Hazard take enough space and get engagements going.
It was either that or you just got one shot unexpectedly, right? Like, it is the Hazard character. It is the Hazard character.
Yeah, but there's the Kiriko character in play. There's the cleanse coming out. Nice, I say nice dodge there, running straight into the path, getting a sliver of HP that last pixel. Oh, so resilient now, buffed up with that Lucio beat Natsuki. Having to dodge away there because that later beat is a real threat to kind of play into. Now, though, the first blade available is Dip. His deflect has been forced, though, but he will still go. Cleanse out now as well. Slashes all onto Santi. And Dip, does not want to go into the face of Fenrir. Not going to skill check that shot there. They'll keep their tank advantage and now trying to roll on through.
Yeah, really nice discipline from Dip. Just gets what he needs and gets out. Refuses to take a chance of getting, because as you saw, and as he saw in the previous fight, I wonder if a little bit of mental fortitude, a little bit of psychology played factor in there. I always wonder how the minds of players change as the series goes on. Like, Dip got completely one-shot in that previous fight before he pulls Blade, right? And I just wonder if he's thinking, I'm not going to peak this because I don't want to get one-shot 2 fights in a row. So he just gets what he needs and he gets out, and it's the more consistent play, and it ends up rewarding in a fight win. And Zero, though, he's just in no fear. Ooh, okay, maybe he should have been a bit scared. Maybe he should have had a little bit of fear.
There's the kind of cruel reflection there. Zero not able to dodge away from the overclock like Dip did. It means they're able to completely turn this fight around. I mean, Zero got the first blow, got his one, but yeah, completely turned around. And Santi will stall the point for a moment, but that's all.
Yeah, friendly reminder that everything in this composition can kill a Genji. Just give it like a
Yes.
second and a half. And as I said, it is just a case of, Dip respects the Sojourn there, does not get hit by the railgun. Zero decides to try and cut through it, trusting that their team are with him. And unfortunately, Zindra just hits the insane outplay. And that is first point cap for Quick. Pure mechanical difference there. Not quite a Genji diff, not quite a Sojourn diff. But again, just a small opportunity in which the fight goes wrong on basically the exact same play. Quick get it right, Ure get it wrong, and that's first point cap.
Yeah. Now it's a very difficult situation of a snowdrop because how do you use this Kitsune Rush with all these high grounds, and especially when there's a Santi creeping up on you. Limrex gonna go first with the rush. Can Quick disengage or they choose to match? Gonna be the first option there, the original, the proven, but oh no, that's not a disengage, that's a hazard hiding in the corner, but there's the rush now. And he's lived long enough for Linrax to be completely gone and dusted off of the field, but I mean, Yurmurai just do the same. Whatever we can do, you can do better. Willis now has to go to the high ground with only his natural kit. No ults available for either side. Nyx, though, a lot knows to be closer on that beat. Doesn't have to invest it, though, as again, a tank advantage taken away from Quick here. Yurmurai trying to snowball this even further, trying to take it all the way in. Santi, though, gets taken out there by Natsuki. You're looking at where their body is, looking at the rest of the team. I think Santi just really over-aggressive in the situation. The entire team now being sent back, because who's back in the fray? It's the one-shot character.
Yeah. Ure were just ready for the attempted short dive to come in from Willis, right? Like, they just sink all their resources into blowing up the hazard, and very rarely does it work. But when it does, it's just a golden nugget of a fight win. It is absolutely free. Willis this time, though, yeah, never more than one fight in a row will the hazard just kind of get shot and killed by your whole team. There we go. Able to excellently mantle up and commit that short dive. So much damage. And that's third point unlocked. And Natnif, it felt like the Quick didn't really do much to get this second point. Do you know what I mean? Like, it felt like they just kind of chilled and then took one good fight and won it.
Yeah, it took, one good fight or one really bad mistake from Santi, because Nyx was noticeably ahead on a beat charge, now completely matched, and because of having that later tank advantage, you cannot get through that choke without your tank. You're just screwed if you attempt it. So yeah, like one pretty quick fight, and now they have 2 minutes left to get through this third point. You're going to try and slow this on. They have 4 ults to their name to do it with.
And let's see, both the Genji and the Sojourn stacked for now for the side of Quick. Going to be looking to burst out onto an angle. Rain comes down though as Natsuki's beat is forced.
Yeah, Nyx is out as well, but not able to connect onto Zero. And even though it did hit Santi, he falls all too quick there. Everyone just being tossed around by the forces of Quick, hunting even to the spawn, trying to get a trade, but no, it will not be the case. Yurmurai do have a 2-1 ult, so they can try and win this fight, but again, it's still a minute 30 left on the clock, so they have to be careful about not overexerting themselves. A rush for rush coming out. Zero having his deflect force, but manages to get the kill on Will. It's just too deep into the territory of that Kiriko rush.
Yeah, really nice play from Mirai, showcasing the experience on flex support, shall I say. Linrax obviously got way more time on Kiriko than Snowdrop does in this environment, in this meta. Beautiful counter off to the Kiri rush. They go, I believe, second, which is not something that is normally recommended with the ult, but excellently kited and re-engaged from Mirai. And 56 seconds left, Quick Esports. There's potential for a hold on here coming out from Mirai, which does give them a win condition going into attack. They've done quite well to rally onto this third point after, honestly, I think giving up a bit too much on second. Slowly, it's ticking out in their favour as we get into what is likely our final fight.
This overclocker has to be doing so much more, but a kill on Willis should be enough. But no, it's Santi that falls to the block damage. Again, just kind of too aggressive going in, and now Dip has a blade. Zydra with the overclock Dip pulling the blade. Cleanse forced out by pure willpower, but Fenrir gets the blow back. Now Zero is uncontested. His counterpart gone off the field, running back to the spawn. Ult's coming up close. Nyx's beat will be one of the key decisions here. If Natsuki can beat him in a race, that'll be a turning point. 10 seconds back, but Zydra kills Nyx. 99 to beat. No, that's tragic. And unless Natsuki has an Ajax here, it's all Yurmurai. But no, Santi just get the pick, but Linrax will give his life to throw down that Kitsune Rush on the point. They can buy time for Lisa to come back. The beat can be massive, and there is, but not in time to save Santi. Willis will fall, but now there's a later rush from Snowdrop. 3 versus 3 on the point, but Kiriko advantage. Sure, they can clear them off. They have to clear them off now, but time is running out, and the blades have been pulled from Zero, but no kill to come through. Dip slices him better. The Quiet Knife finally trying to come alive, trying to put an end to this. But the spawn advantage, they're favoring Yuri Mirai. Dip trying to ignore that, trying to get a second kill, make that a third onto Nyx as well. Note out all the neutral. Doom is back in the form of Willis, but also hopefully for the form of Yuri Mirai. Finally, quick whittling them down these close spawns.
Oh my, no way. That's a crazy amount of live on that objective from Quick. That is really well played. Zidra felt like they stood the point for ages on that Tracer. Of course, the hazard ult from Willis doesn't actually manage to come down. It gets interrupted. Mirai got their rain off when able to find the convert onto that tank. Mirai with respawn advantage as well. Quick on the run back. Such a long run back from spawn onto that third point. But again, showcasing the survivability of this backline and these double flankers, because Zidra and Dip were just living for so long that in the end, they got into a 4v4 or a 3v3 that they liked. And they locked in and secured those targets. Once we saw both DPS back into the fray for Quick, we saw how quickly the targets of Mirai fell one by one. But that was a losing fight for a good 15-20 seconds there. If you're Quick and manage to stable it. So really, really nice job of honestly just living. Sometimes that's all you need to do in those situations. Just live. Don't do anything too silly and take it from there. And that's exactly what Quick did. And it rewards them with a full cap.
Yeah, it was scrappy though. We like to see kind of a more a balanced exchange finally coming at Yuri Mirai. We did seem to have locked that third point down. Honestly, I think, Quick make a few more mistakes here and there, or a couple more mechanical wizardry comes out from Mirai. I think they can deny that full cap, and now they will have to match that. But given their performance, I think this is probably the team that's most likely to deny kind of the 2-0 Overwatch we've been experiencing today.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, nothing really changed for the side of these compositions. Mirai now on attack, it's going to be more difficult, of course. Quick are going to have really good defensive options here. I think the hazard is way better on defense on this map. It's easier and it's definitely more effective. All these choke points and this wall gives you so much disruption to be able to look for a target. Trudgy's side to go on. It looks like Willis has found his for now.
Yeah. There's that Suzu forced out early from Orion. Santi's still trying to go in. The block has been completely expended here, but is able to keep alive from it. Willis had to go up the Mega Pack there. So now it's just a neutral exchange, and Yuri Mirai still pushing the cart. Natsuki trying to clear the high ground, but Santi and Ko are still remaining firm on controlling it. Sondrum is building up to a Kitsune rush, but Linrax is 10% ahead. And still Mirai pushing the cart. No kills come through, but they're already halfway through that first point. Nyx falling, lower rail, taking them even lower, but not down to Zero, crucially. And Quick, they're floundering around. There's the rush coming out, and Zero dashes straight into Zydra. First kill traded though, as Fenrir will make a brave hero play there, but looking to be in vain as the villain Dip strikes back, looking to take another. But he has no cooldowns. Can they punish him for it? But there's the cooldowns coming out from Willis, forcing out those of Linrax. They're all being corralled into this small room of 3 members staring down as Santi abandoned his flock, but eventually they will get out.
Yeah, and there's no opportunity for Mirai to take a quick recontest. All comes in early from Willis, I guess just to zone Santi. He has to go forward rather than back to deal with that rain. And there's no downpour, but unfortunately it is still down goes that Scotsman. And now, well, Santi's just to try and have to do exactly what they've just done to him, right? Try and find value with that quote-unquote purple rain. See if he can turn himself from a prince into a king into this next fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot in the way, but Santi, talking about stuff in the way, the wall takes out Tip. Yeah. Oh, and Saiji again with another overclock. Doesn't catch the beat. That's play a little bit safer now. Can't take more aggressive angles. Trying to find his way into Zero, but has to skirt his way back onto the high ground. Now, Benra has an overclock to go uncontested. The only thing will be Dip's blade when he's back, but the entire team is trying to live for that moment, and Zero is the first one to pull the blade, in fact. Sight set there onto Snowdrop yet again. Some big cleave damage coming through, but no final blows, and Natsuki's the one to claim his life instead. Fenrir's still on this high ground, has to kind of stand on this Kiriko rush and respect that, though.
Yeah, these Genji blades today have been they've been punishing. Dare I say, it feels like the team that pulls Genji blade just ends up losing the fight because they just become the prime target, the prime focus, and obviously having to go into melee range to get value with that all-important ultimate. Let's see if Dip can break the curse, though. Are we in Kettering?
Oh, nice animation cancel there. Clean mechanics coming through from Dip. I'm sure he can give J9 a lesson here or there. Zero, though, will manage to find a nice trade onto Natsuki. And the cap came through regardless. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, the curse, it's still there. The blade was pulled, and yet they still lost, even though Dip, got away with his life and a kill.
Pull Genji blade and lose.
Yeah.
Not at my LAN convention. Nonetheless. A negative side, Fenris, his ultimate is up immediately, so there's nothing else to be able to snowball it afterwards. There should be a response from this Sojourn. You expect the overclock to come in here to aggressively sort of just pump damage into this choke point. The rain is going to be a huge boon for Williso, who's, again, really fixated on contesting this high ground, was on the attack as well, really looking to control this sort of, this stable, this bar, sort of this tavern area.
Well, the downpour comes down there, big connection onto Nyx and onto Santi Limrak. All his attention spent on trying to keep the tank alive, but now you lack that Lucio, you lack all the escape options to get away more likely. And Santi just getting hunted down, sealing himself inside the tomb, but the only thing it's going to act as is one from the Egyptian temple's body preserved there. Only 2 minutes left on the clock, but a lot of ults coming online for EMEA. I think this has to be the fight where they swing the momentum in the other way.
Yeah, very much locked inside a room with himself. Nothing much to be doing there. Linrax is getting close to this Kiri rush, though. Big ultimate for them, gives them so much agency to be able to take space again. Talking about being able to punch up into this quick esports roster, one way you can do it is by having more cooldowns than they do. Natsuki, unlucky there, I guess, with the boop.
Yeah, just gently nudging Fenrir to safety there, but seems to be rejecting an offer for health, getting the Suzu force there, luckily, actually. Quite impactful. Now that rush is down, there's no option to save Natsuki with that Suzu. There's Suzu out from zero, and even though the Kitsune rush has been popped, the only thing they can do 2 times faster is stare the rest of their team as they fall. I don't think maybe a retouch can come through. There are 3 on cart. It's going to be quite a tight squeeze to get there, especially with a wall from Santi. I think that's definitely what it's setting up for.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. But
yeah, they're not even going to attempt it.
I just try and look to go into the third point, and Mirai have got 2 minutes now, so it gives them time on the bank, and of course on Escort finishing with time in the bank matters not when your enemy just got it in overtime, as opposed to the other sort of capture objective-based modes. It is different on Escort, of course, but still just having a major time bank essentially will give you an extra fight or two. And if you're quick now, well, you're just looking to play against that bank, that clock, aren't you? Father Time is not on your side. Eventually you're going to run out of ultimates, and this payload will be moving for free as Sidra popping in early here to try and just
they flip the map?
Right to run away. Yeah, interesting flip.
Wow, yeah. Very impressive there is you have such a strong high ground.
Is it worth if they can't push cart? Like, they have sealed off cart progress here.
Because look at all the high grounds that DPS can just play off there, and now Dip looking like 3 J9s in a trench coat, finding one, hunting for the second, not able to find it, but Fenrir, the main damage they're taken out, will spell the doom and demise for the rest of your Mirai, and that 2-minute time bank has already been halved.
Yeah, J27. Yeah, that's a peak bar. Yeah, some may call him. Is it J27? Is that how that works then?
I guess so.
3 J9s, 9 times 3.
Yeah, I think so.
Quick math. Nonetheless, Willis right now is looking like a very angry Scottish man in a trench coat. Is it about to be raining outside? It always is in Scotland. Let's find out.
Yeah, the downpour I think was not even needed for that fight, but it looks. Honestly, for a second, I thought he used it because he just managed to find 3 kills that fight, and often that is in the use of the downpour. But no, he still will have it in his trench coat back pocket for the next one, and a beat to pair up with it. And you can force out so many ults so early that if you use ults out of your Mirai, it won't even feel like a real win.
Yeah, obviously not going to be getting towards either DPS or Kirill anytime soon, but having both of the ones available that you've got are very big playmaking tools. Kiri Rush has to come through just to try and deal with it, and they're staying in. Quick, this is a bold call to pop the sound barrier, but I guess it works out. Zero dies. 5 seconds left. Fenris is dead. This is the hold from Quick.
And they've managed to get on the right side of the... No, they haven't even managed to get on the right side. The point they're still the wrong way around. And now Zero trying to get things the right way, trying to get things topsy-turvy with the blade. Finds one, but no, the deflect won't keep him alive for long enough. Snowdrop will fall, but Dip is still alive and making sure that Nimrax very much isn't. And Willis will find Santi. It's all Nyx on the point. There's one person left. It's Fenrir throwing his body onto the cart, but it's going to be nothing but a stepping stone for Quick to take the crown of this match. I believe that will give them the win here, if I'm not incorrect, for qualifier, the February qualifier for the Overdrive Cup. I'm not sure what that means in terms of the grand deal, in terms of what that means to the finals. February might affect the seeding, but got to feel nice, got to feel like a good confidence booster that you are still at the top of your game, at the top of the food chain here in these kind of tournaments.
Just a good bit of practice in the final game, really, really well executed. I guess just taking sort of like a day off from scrims to go and clean sweep in a tournament. Did not drop a map. Full 6-0 from Quick here today. Very, very dominant performances. Not really got much else to say, so I guess we can just wrap and sign off for the evening.
Yeah, we probably should do a nice little shout out to our partners over at GamerPad and our sponsors, Network Specialisten and Hummel. Hopefully, I should be getting my Hummel Quick jersey soon, so I can be repping that drip, hopefully for next streams. But until then, that'll be all from us at Quick. Thank you very much for Jace for joining us here. It's very lovely to have you and all the insight you bring. And I guess Westy was greedy for the double shout out because he was both observing and producing for us. So thank you to him as well. And obviously, thank you very much to our lovely audience for tuning in for another quick stream. We will hope to catch you on the flip side. But until then, hope you have a good rest of your week.
Take care.